Now the JSE expected to extend its rally, joining global counterparts. This is after the United States Federal Reserve Chairperson Jerome Powell announced that a slowdown in the pace of interest rate increases as soon as this month. That is what he said. Locally, though, investors will also be watching to see how the Phala Phala report will impact on trade as President Cyril Ramaphosa's fate hangs in the balance. JustOneLap founder Simon Brown joining us now for an update on the latest market moves. Simon, good morning to you. Your quick sense of how the local index is performing in early trade. Add to that the currency. How's the rand doing?
Yeah, so markets are doing great. We are very green. As you mentioned, Jerome Powell last night saying, yep, they're not going to stop increasing rates, but they're going to slow it. In other words, no more 0.75%. Probably 0.5% from here on out, and then at some point 0.25%. And we've responded in kind. Our market's up 2% at the open. The industrials up 2 1/3. Resources leading the way, up 2 3/4%. And financials, the lagger, up just 0.25%. But they've had a very good year so far. You mentioned the currencies. There we're not looking so good. We are weaker across the board. The US dollar, we're 17.23. The sterling, we are 20.82. And against the euro, 17.99 for 1 ZAR.
The Phala Phala report is out, Simon Brown. And President Ramaphosa's fate, it hangs in the balance. I think that's the best way to describe the situation right now. How will investors read this one? As you mentioned, the market really is, at this point, looking to what happened in the US. But the currency, perhaps, I always call the currency, in a sense, the canary in the coal mine. And the currency is telling a very different picture to what we're seeing. If we hadn't have had the Phala Phala report out last night, I would have expected the rand to be stronger across the board on the back of our indices, equity also being a lot stronger. So that really is sort of an uncertainty. And as you say, we don't know quite how this is going to play out. We don't have a clue how this is going to play out. It's going to happen over the days, weeks, and months ahead. But the currency is telling us that there is caution. Yes, there's excitement about the US rates and everything, but that weaker rand is really the red flag that we're seeing in the markets today. Let's talk company news, starting with Sasol, which has published a trading statement for the 6 months, which ended on, or which are expected to end on the 31st of December 2022, including that, the update on operations. Help us make sense of their numbers.
Actually, a good number from Sasol, although broadly expected, because of course, we've still got some base effect. It was the second half of last year. Oil had recovered during that, but obviously even at these points now with Brent oil in the mid-80s, it's still nicely above where oil was a year ago. So from a historical perspective, what they've done in the last 6 months, or will do for the rest of this month as well, a good-looking update. The concern out there from the market, and Sasol's currently trading off 5%, is that oil price. Oil's been trending weaker. We hit $136 when the Ukraine war broke out earlier this year. We're now trading $85. We've got an OPEC meeting, OPEC Plus meeting on Sunday. Expectation is they won't do much, but certainly the trend in oil at this point in time is too weaker, and that is directly going to hurt Sasol profits, not for this period, but into 2023.
Well, let's talk about Murray and Roberts announcing their intention to dispose of its entire interest in Mbombela Concession Company. Talk us through those developments.
Yeah, so some Mbombela concession, the Gautrain up here in Johannesburg. We all know the Gautrain, Johannesburg and Tshwane. And they were involved in the construction. They took a part of that concession. But Murray and Roberts needs cash in order to, build their bridges and all the other bits and pieces that they do, mines and the like. They need to put down bonds, essentially a pile of cash, in case something goes wrong. Typically, those would be funded with banks, but globally, banks have been pulling back from that, and that's put Murray and Roberts in a fairly significant cash squeeze. We saw them sell their Australian operations just last month. They're now selling Mbombela as well. It really is to raise that cash, and then the company, at the end of the day, when they've sold the assets, oil and gas is going to be their only remaining business operating in that space.
Simon Brown, let me thank you very much for your time and indeed that markets update. He is founder of JustOneLap. And